This is always the fun part, waiting, and we're live. Hey, hello, Facebook family. We know we got to wait a minute and let the room kind of fill up. And we are so excited today because we get to talk about training with the expert. I mean, we have like called in some favors, y'all. Not really. We just asked and she said yes, because Julie is so wonderful in sharing her knowledge with everybody. And so honestly, we are very lucky. I'm a little starstruck, so I am always amazed at women who are professional in our industry and represent us, represent all of us with such class and dignity. And then take time to make sure that they're sharing and trying to empower everybody. And Julie, you do that. And so I'm really, really glad that you're here. We are excited to talk about the training and what Smith & Wesson is doing. That's lots of exciting things happening. Krista, you look great. It looks like you're on your road to healing.
Thank you. I am making progress every day. We can get here. We can almost go up here. So yeah. Every week, everything is
right.
better.
So for those of you that don't know, Krista, about 4 weeks ago, really broke her arm, and not just her arm, like she separated her shoulder from the joint, had surgery, and has been working really hard to get back to full capacity. Already, I think, been to the range a little bit. And so she's trying to get out there and learn things one-handed. But Krista, do you want to introduce Julie and get us kicked off today?
Yes. So for those of you that don't know Julie, don't recognize her face or her name, it seems like we have a little bit of a delay. So if we do, you guys just hang tight. We're here. If we drop off, y'all know we are the Queens of Technology Challenge. We will, I promise we come back. So we have Julie with us today, Julie Golob. Did I say that right? Yes, I did.
You did?
With herself, but as a representative of Smith & Wesson, right? So Julie, you may recognize her face and her voice from Gun Smarts by Smith & Wesson. She's here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Gun Smarts. We're going to talk a little bit about her personal training since, we've been living in the land of COVID, as well as the new product announcement that Smith & Wesson had come out in the last couple of weeks. So Julie, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you really quickly and give us a quick, for those that may not know, even though I'm thinking a lot of people have seen the Gun Smarts, kind of give us an overview of what that means and what's coming. Oh,
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always so much fun to chat with you guys.
I want to just mention, Julie, you're also like a world championship shooter.
Yes,
like you don't want to forget that little piece of your bio. You are.
I do that.
Yeah,
oh no.
It's a little thing.
It's just it's good. Only, world. 30 years. No, I'm so excited. Gun Smarts is really a great initiative. Smith & Wesson came up with this idea of, after seeing so many new shooters going out and buying handguns for the first time, buying firearms for the first time, that they wanted to provide a resource and open up the community. So a lot of times, when we see sales and when we're working to make sure we get product at the door, sometimes we don't realize who's buying the product all the time. And that has changed so much over the past year with 8 million new gun owners, that this whole brainchild of Gun Smarts was thought up. And it's a series of videos that combines just the basic fundamentals of shooting with safety, those common questions you have as a new gun owner. Maybe you've bought a pistol, maybe you haven't. And we just jump into everything. And it did so well that we're actually running in another series of Gun Smarts here in this next year. So I'm excited to be filming more of those this month. So more coming at you.
That's awesome. And we need it. I mean, and people are thirsty for that information.
Yes.
There's so many, like you say, new gun owners out there, and they want to learn. And in the COVID environment, sometimes it's hard to get to the range for some of them. So these online tutorials are a perfect segue for them to at least be safe. And I know that's one of your big platforms is firearm safety. And so we appreciate that.
No, yeah, and it's exciting because when everybody comes and visits you guys, right, and they they see the trailers and they see your setup, now you have an additional resource to give them as well. So they're going to get that great hands-on experience. They're going to get that mentorship that they so desperately need when they meet up with you for the first time, and then you could say, "Hey, there's more. There's more for you," and welcome, which is really, really great.
It is great, and that's a good connection with that. I really want to spend a quick minute because this 15 minutes is going to go fast. I have a feeling we're going to go over tonight. I'm just going to say, I want to spend a quick minute on you and your personal training. I mean, we talk a lot about dry fire, things we can do at home, virtual training. But as Karen mentioned a few moments ago, you are a world champion shooter. So that's something that you've got to stay practiced with. How have you been able to manage that at home?
So it's funny because with COVID, we've had so many events canceled, and like last year didn't exist. It just went off the calendar, right? And so now that we're coming back and we're starting to see ranges open and we're starting to see competitions pop up again, there's definitely an excitement, but at the same time, because there's so much ammo issues out there, not a lot of people can get ammo. The range time sessions are so valuable. So for me, training looks a lot like making sure that I'm doing absolutely everything I possibly can in dry fire, way more time in dry fire now. And then when I do get to the range, it's completely planned out. I'm not fooling around. I'm not wasting ammo. I'm not joking. I'm not, testing it. I have a defined plan. And because ammo is so hard to come by, and because there's not a lot of range time, for a lot of people available these days, still with ranges being closed or limited, you can still do so much at home in dry fire, and just making sure that you have no ammunition around you. You can go through gun handling skills. You can work on your sight alignment, trigger control. You can even run whole mini courses of fire. I have dry fire targets all over my office. I can literally shoot a course of fire right here at home. And so that when I am on the range, I can focus on recoil control and shot to shot braking and all of that good stuff. So dry fire is your friend.
That is very true. A lot of us don't do it as much as we should, right? We set out and have a good plan, think we're going to do it, try to commit to it mentally, but it's pushed to the wayside, right? It's one of those things at the end of the day, I'll do it tomorrow. And it's also so important for successful shooting that
it is. I actually have a pair of pants in my closet here that I just have my belt ready to go. So I literally come down here and I switch out my pants, and it's like I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And just those little things, making everything set up and easy, just takes out that little pain where oh, I've got to go do this. I've got to go change. I've got to go figure out this. Whereas if you have it ready to go, set up, and you know that you're going to be working on it, even if it's 5-10 minutes, and you write a little memo on your phone or set a reminder in your email and just get it done. It's like working out, right? If you don't plan the time for it, it's really easy to, just say, oh, I'm gonna skip today. Today's gonna be a cheat day.
So Julie, when you train, do you have a set of gear for training and a set of gear for competition, or do you commingle that gear? Is it?
Everything is the same. I have a backup gun that sometimes I'll shoot more, depending on what the situation is, but I like to keep everything the same as possible. So I don't need double gear. I want everything set up, like my holster, my belt, all that stuff is set up for what I'm using, and it's durable. It lasts. I mean, we're not using babying stuff and that sort of thing. Right. So no, I just use what I have.
Very cool.
That's good to know. That's good to know. If you had to give one simple dry fire tip to our followers and watchers, what would it be? Is there one quick something that they would take away from you that's an impact that you can think of?
When it comes to dry fire, again, it comes down to having a plan. So, the best shooters in the world celebrate their successes, but they always work on their weaknesses. So if, for example, you're a little rough on your trigger control, that's what you should spend your time dry firing. I can tell you this much, we all can benefit from improving our gun handling skills. Just making sure we keep our finger off the trigger, racking the slide, moving, from space to space with a firearm. That's a real beginner level kind of thing. But in shooting sports and even in day-to-day life, that is so critical for the safety aspect of things. So just putting your hands on your gun and just getting out there and taking the time is the best thing you can do.
Good point. Thank you. I think we'll all take something away from that, me specifically.
I think a lot of people are commenting about the training aspect too, about planning training. I think all of us have an intent, but not a plan. And there's a big difference. And so I think we should, all of us should say, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to take Julie's advice and we're all going to dry fire practice. And we're going to make sure we get our ammo away from our gun. No live ammo.
Yep.
And we are going to dry fire. I'm going to do it and work on my mag changes.
Perfect.
So for some reason, I tried to do this thing for the Appleseed project.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't change a magazine fast enough to save my soul. Like, how do you do that? Like, what is the tip to help change a magazine fast?
So it's just like anything else. You have to break it down into steps, right? So step one, get the other mag out of the gun first, right? Well, step one, finger off the trigger, obviously.
Right.
But you want to think about all of the steps that have to happen. So the magazine has to come out and a new one has to come in. So in order to do things quickly, you want to multitask two things at the same time. So I'm pressing my magazine release button when I'm grabbing another mag. So that mag is falling out. And when I'm ready to go, I have the magazine right in front of my face with the mag well, and I'm watching it go in so that I can insert it, seat it, and then acquire my sights to get on target, put my finger on the trigger. So it really does come down to figuring out what the steps that you need to do in order to make that happen. Of course, every pistol or rifle is different, so you have to figure that out. But if you can batch things and look at things to make sure that you're consistent every time, then that's going to bring you that much closer to being smooth and efficient until you're so fast that you can't even, everybody's like, oh, Karen's amazing.
I want to try it, but you just said I have to do two things at the same time, so I'm not sure.
Right? And you have to use two different hands, Karen. Use two different hands.
Right.
So yeah,
thank you for that tip. I appreciate it. I'm going to try it. I'll let you know how I do.
Good.
I bet that's one of the tasks in dry fire that a lot of people don't practice is a mag change. They probably spend a lot of focus on the function of the firearm and not that in between time. So maybe we should all try that as a challenge this week. I wonder if I could change a mag. That'll be my task for this week, to see if I can physically change a mag with my arm in a condition that it's in.
All right. So, Krista, when my hand was broken, I just laid him up on the table and I just drop it and then slam the gun down.
Yeah.
A cheat.
Might not always have a table available, but I'll try it.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a question for Julie as we're getting close to our time? And
I want to spend a quick minute before we forget this piece, right? So a couple weeks ago, it's probably been 3 or 4 weeks now, at least, Smith & Wesson did a big announcement of a product. And if anyone was able to watch that live announcement, it was in the evening. They did an incredible historical lesson on the company of Smith & Wesson. And then, of course, they made their announcement about the Shield Plus. And while we've got Julie here, it'd be great if you could share a little bit about that whole concept and everything around the Shield Plus.
Absolutely. I even have one right here.
There you go.
Brand new. What I love about this particular pistol is if you're familiar with the Shield platform, it's light, slim, compact. It's a micro compact. And it's one of these types of firearms that is ideal for concealed carry. It's going to be comfortable enough to carry all day long. And we have sold over 3 million shields over the course of the past few years, right? But what I love about Smith & Wesson is they're always innovating, right? So the Shield Plus takes essentially the same size as the original shields and makes a little swell in the grip, just a tiny little bit. So the capacity is increased from 8+1 to 13+1. So you have a 13+1 round capacity in a very, very small, light package that's really, really ideal for CCW. And because it is a shield, the ergonomics of this pistol are really, really great. A lot of times, these little micro compacts are not so fun to shoot because they kick a lot. They feel like they move around in your hands. But this gun really shoots like a full size gun. It's like a little gun that could. So now it even has even more capacity. So
That is awesome.
Awesome.
There's
Well,
a
thank you.
question.
No,
Go ahead. There was a question, can
I
we
was gonna
buy
say-
direct from Smith & Wesson? And I don't think Smith & Wesson sells direct to the firearms direct to the public. They need to go to their gun store. We always say, please go to Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. They're big supporters of us, and we appreciate you patronizing them. But you might go where they have it.
Yes. And that's the nice thing right now. They are shipping. So what you can do is go to a Bass Pro or Cabela's if they don't have one. You can ask them to put one on order. So the firearms industry uses a 2-tier distribution system. So gun makers, distributors, dealers, and you. So if you go to Smith & Wesson's website, you can figure out exactly the configuration that you want. And then write that SKU number down, head to your dealer and say, I want this one. And they can put one on order for you.
So the configuration that I want, what are some things that I might change out or that would be different that I would customize in my configuration?
So what's really neat is, and I didn't mention this earlier, the Shield Plus comes with a flat face trigger right out of the box. So this is really, really nice because you don't have that curve of the original Shields that a lot of people can struggle with. So that is a feature that's right there out of the box. What you can do, this has a standard white dot sight. So line up the 3 dots and you're good to go on the target. Well, there's a night sight version. There are fiber optic versions, and there is even an optics ready version that comes with an optic in the box. And that's from the Performance Center. And that's a 4-inch model. So just a little bit longer than this one. But when you're concealing a firearm, it's the grip that's the issue when you're concealing it. So it's just a little bit longer, easy to conceal still, and a great option.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with all of us. I know we mentioned one other thing previous to jumping on live is that if you're in one of those states that requires 10 rounds or less, what can someone do?
So what's really neat is the standard models come with 13+1 and a 10+1 magazine. So if you're in a state that doesn't allow a standard capacity, let's call it, magazine, and you're limited to 10, you still have the option of getting a Shield Plus because you can get it with 2 10-round magazines. And again, that's all in that configuration setup. If you go to smith-wesson.com, and you can find out all that there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I would just say there are lots of really great states to go to where you wouldn't have that problem.
Yes. Well, everybody who isn't, you're fighting the good fight. So keep it up.
Yeah. Oh, Julie, it is so great to see you. We just love having you on. What you do, I'm not kidding. Like, I say this to people, but I am genuinely sincere that it is just amazing how much you do for our industry, how well you represent women in the sport as athletes, as moms, as safety advocates, I mean, as experts, really. So thank you very much for everything that you do. And really, thanks for taking your time to visit with all of us. I'm going to look through and see if any questions for you while Krista goes ahead and does some of our housekeeping, I think.
All right. Yes, Julie, thank you for joining us tonight. And all of our internet stayed connected most of the time. So that's exciting. So as we do for every live, we always do a comment, like, and share, and people can be entered to win for a prize drawing. So last week we had Kaylee Geist coming on with us. She is a competition archer, and we talked a little bit about the difference between and the similarities of competition and hunting archery. So my winner from last week is Erin Humble. Erin, I'll reach out to you and grab your mailing address, and we'll get a Shoot Like a Girl swag bag out to you. So same thing for this week, everyone. Remember, like, comment, and share. Whether you're watching it live or in replay, it doesn't matter. We still see your comments. We still see that you liked the actual live, even then replay, and we'll choose a name right before next week's live for the winner.
Yep. So there was a question. There were 2 questions. One we're going to dodge. Sorry, people, we don't do politics on this show. And the other one is they want to know how the slide is to rack. So what do you think about racking the slide?
So really important to understand that if you struggle with hand strength or if you have issues racking a slide in general, the Shield EZ platform is really the firearm for you. It comes in 380 or 9mm, and that gun is purpose-built to be easy. Now, what I will say is this Shield Plus is much more tightly sprung than the EZ, But as you guys know, technique is everything. And this is what we're talking about in dry fire, right? You can work to manipulate the slide and that sort of thing. So I'm not behind the gun at all, and I can rack the slide just fine. Okay, so that should tell you something. Me, smaller hands, woman. I'd like to think that I'm Superwoman strong, but I am not. But it's not going to be as easy as the Shield Easy. One little tip here, when you are inserting a full-size fully loaded magazine in, and you're trying to rack and slide, all of that pressure on the mag is going to make it really much more challenging to do so. So when you do that, a little tip is you can lock the slide to the rear, insert your magazine, and then bring the slide forward, take your magazine out, and then load the other round in. There are lots of little ways around some of the challenges that we have, especially if you have strength issues or manipulation issues. It is more challenging than the easy, but it is totally doable as well.
Very good.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's all the questions we had. So Julie, we want to give you an opportunity if there's anything that you want to say. How do people watch your videos?
Sure. You can find all the information about me and all the things that I'm doing, including on social media and everything else, at juliegolob.com. Of course, I'm active on Facebook and Instagram. I'll be active in the comments. So even if you're catching this on the replay, I'll be sure to say hi to everybody who's come on. So I always appreciate it when people take the time out of their schedule to say hello and spend time with me and you all. So, and hopefully I will get to a Shoot Like a Girl event sometime in the future. That would be
will. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We might have to drive it up to your front door.
You know what? I am not opposed to that idea. May make it hard to turn it around.
Yeah. So, we'll be all right.
Right.
We'll have the sticks. The boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Our driver's back down like 2 miles before we can do it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Krista. It's great to see you as always. Next Thursday, what do we got going on next Thursday? Oh, I have something. I'm leaving tomorrow for Waco. So we'll be in Waco this weekend. So if y'all are in Texas, we're there on Saturday from 9 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4 with a very hard stop on Sunday. So come early because we're going to stop taking sign-ins around 3:30 so that we have our last client through by 4. And we are doing product demos. We'll talk about dry firing. You guys are going to get to see all the new stuff from the trailer. So come by there. And then we, we closed out our hunt. I can't say anything, but we'll have announcements about our hunt very soon. Exciting things there that we'll be back in Kansas, hunting some turkeys with another gun manufacturer, and we're just totally excited. So y'all have a great weekend. Week. I don't know. It feels like it's weekend. I'm confused.
Yeah, it's weekend.
As always.
So it's a weekend somewhere.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right, everybody.